Now back here on 37, I clamped my hood in and got it straight as I can both sides, and now I've got it pretty much centered. When I drilled this out, and I'm going to tap it, put 4 bolts in it, bolt it down good, then I'll put those center cross pieces in up there. Figured I needed to do that rather than just fool around and start that motor. I'll go ahead and fix this and get the radiator in and everything, so I got water in it. And I gotta wait for a carburetor gasket anyway. No use trying to put one on and then take it off again. Might as well just do it all in one shot. My starter bolts came today. I got an ignition switch, so I'll probably do a little wiring on the dash in there and get the wires sorted out. But in the meantime, I'll just finish tapping this and put some bolts in it. Well, there's 2 bolts. I used a 1/2 inch. I say 1/2 inch. They're 1/2 inch heads. I don't know what that is, 5/32 or something shaft. But that's plenty strong enough for this. It ain't wiggling at all now. And these little bolts are there's a little nut made into the fender. This one here came out, I can tap it. This one looks pretty decent. This one the guy had ground off. I might be able to, weld that one and get it out. I don't know what I'll do, but I'm going to try to save those 3 because they they go into the fender. Who knows, the fender might be torn up where they go. Yeah, I can't really tell over there. Maybe not. Anyway, this is in and bolted solid. And my gaps, of course, are still exactly where I clamped them. This is not straight. I got more room over there, but I can move the hood back, and I don't have any sealing rubbers or anything in here, which will raise it up, and that'll change it some. But I think we're good enough. And this side is the main gap down here on this side, and it's kind of close back here. I might be able to tweak this hood a little bit, but anyway, I think I'm good enough over here. All of this, those little nuts are gone. These 2 are pretty good shape, so I'm going to squish that down good with a C-clamp. I think on this one, if I can get it flat, I might try to drill a hole right there in the middle of it, right up in this area, and tap that. This one, time I moved it around, this little hole right here, it's not nowhere near where it needs to go, so I'll drill another hole in there. So I'll get this top one flat and see what I can do about fixing it. I was able to get that top one away from the original hole and kind of where a big washer covers up that main hole, and it tightened down pretty good. I found out that that bracket right there is hitting the edge of the fender. That's why this why it won't go back anymore. so I can grind a little bit of the corner of that off, and that fender will tilt back. I mean the hood, cowl, whatever it is. So I'm going to try to put a bolt in here as low as I can to try not to upset the geometry when this thing moves back another 1/8 of an inch or so. So probably right about where that clamp is. I'll take a look there. I'll pull the clamp off, but it should be getting really strong right now. I don't have any trouble pulling clamps. I was actually able to salvage that bowl hole. It was only a little off, so I drilled it out and put a 9/16 bolt in it instead of 1/2 inch. And that's the one that goes behind the grill shell, so it didn't hit anything. And I was just looking here at this S10 steering box. You know, I had a 1/4 of a turn play in it. I must have turned this adjusting screw down 4 or 5 turns, and usually they're just a, you know, 1/8 of a turn or something like that. Now there is a way to adjust these things. There's a big square nut here on the outside, and this turns the middle part. You take that big nut off and you tighten that, and what that does is squeeze the bearings together inside. People usually don't do that because they don't want to take the whole steering box out, and in a normal truck there's probably no way to do that. I don't know exactly what the procedure is, whether you torque it down until it's got so much resistance or what, but I'm going to loosen that adjusting, I guess it's a pinion screw, I guess you'd call it, and loosen that up again. And I'm going to just take a chisel and knock this thing off, and I've got some big sockets, and just try to tighten it up and see if that knocks a lot of that play out, because what this thing is doing is pushing it off to the side, and if these bearings are worn, which they probably are, squeezing it together will fix the bearings, or at least get the play out of them. And then this thing here shouldn't have to, you know, because it's pushing it off center. I know I just turned it way too far, unless somebody had backed it out, but grease didn't look like it. It looked like it hadn't been adjusted. So anyway, that's a project for another day. Next time I take this hood off, I'll go ahead and grind that corner down so I can knock it back a little, and I should be about ready to pull that hood open now and see what I can do about making an adjusting rod. Putting that rod through the holder here. It's kind of a straight right angle, and it looks like it's going up to this big hole. Now I could put it down here where the inside brace is, but you can see it don't look like that's where it's supposed to go. I'm pretty sure it goes there in that big hole. It was probably some kind of a big screw with a big head that went into a flat plate. So I don't know what I'll do about that. That end there I'll just cut off, weld the long bolt on it so I can adjust it with nuts. But see, this top of this grill is still bending around, even though it's bolted super good. I can actually see that bracket moving. Yeah, it's so I'm gonna have to have a rod there. Either that or crawl under there and do some more bracing. I don't think that's necessary. I think this rod will keep everything from moving. So it looks like I'm going to need to make a flat plate. And it'll be going down under it here somewhere with a bolt hole in it, or threaded. I don't know exactly how to do that. Fill that hole. I guess I could weld a washer into the bottom of that hole. Probably be the best way to do it. And then have the plate bolt there to the washer. But this is gonna have to go in there. I ain't gonna do it today. Squatting down there, putting in bolts, about finished me off. But at least I know now that this yeah, that bracket's bending. Hood's flexing too. I mean the cowl. But I can actually see that angle iron down there flexing, and I don't have that last bracket in on the bottom. That'll help. But basically, well, I'm gonna have to do something about the top of this. Problem for another day. Clean up my stuff and call it quits. I took my rod, heated it up, pounded it flat on the anvil, drilled a hole in it. I found a bolt that will hardly break. Looks like it fits it pretty good. And I've got this section here now. So all I gotta do is get a bolt, mark this, and weld a bolt on. I should have some adjustment in it. I decided rather than doing some welding, I just tapped that 7/16 by 14. Didn't really get down to the minor diameter. I probably could have used 3/8 by 16. Awfully big nuts there, but I think it's strong enough to hold. And this nut tightened up, but I'm pretty sure that I've got about 1/4 inch adjustment this way, 3/4 of an inch that way. I think that's going to be enough, because I lowered the hood down, and I'll put it down again and check. It's a little tight right here on top, And so I think I ought to push that hood forward 1/8 of an inch. I'll do that. Well, that's a little better. Still not. When I push this down, it's. I guess I ought to hook the back first. That's not too bad. It's touching up there. And I got quite a bit of it to come back here, so I think I'm in the sweet spot there. At least the brace is in, and holding that thing pretty steady. And it don't look too bad. I should have, if I would have been home, I'd have put it in the lathe and turned it a little smaller. I may still do that. I may turn it down and thread it with a finer bolt, but for now, this is good enough. I need to sort out what am I going to use up there for that taper head screw. I could go ahead and just make another one of these. This is pretty decent. I think what I'll do is take this off, put it on the other side, and start fooling around with my radiator here. Maybe not. I may just leave this alone like it is and see what I can do about this fender. I was watching another guy on YouTube, and he's got a 37. He's got a bunch of stock stuff, and that one cross brace goes across here on this fender. Let me see if I can get you a little further picture. It goes across here somewhere, and then there's another angle bracket that goes down here on the bottom. And of course the frame is completely different down here. So I've got that bracket. It's laying there under the front. Maybe I'll try to put this fender on here and figure out how to mount a bracket. I don't have that last one drilled down there. I think what I'm going to do though is, I think once I get this on and weld it up, I'm not going to want to take it off again. And it's quite a bit of work to drag my welder way over here. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and bring the welder over it, get something mocked up here for this radiator. Get it welded in. This big cross brace here that's going across the other side, it's been cut off there. I don't know if I should weld something else on there. Well, before I could move the hood around and bend it. Can't do that now. So this top brace might be good enough. Of course, you know, just pushing and pulling on it, and driving it and twisting and hitting bumps and stuff is a different story. But I do know I got to get the radiator in, and I'm going to have to build some kind of stands down there on that bracket to raise it up, and that's got to be welded in. So I might as well kind of figure that out, put the radiator in, cut my brackets, and then just weld everything all in one shot here. I think my little MIG welder would probably be good for that. I've got another good Miller arc welder that's a flux core. I kind of hate to waste my gas on welding stuff like that down there. We'll see. I'm going to see if I can get that radiator in there and see if I can get it in past this bracket and start mocking that up. Well, I got it in. Main thing, it's hitting there on these two top brackets. I can't really get it up very much, maybe another 1/4 of an inch. And I'm on the bolt down here. You can see that's interfering pretty good. There's no way I can run it like that. It'd just eat a hole in the radiator. I could probably carefully dent that in a little bit, or even cut it out and put something else in it, you know, just make a cut across there. But I don't have a whole lot of luck welding aluminum radiators, and I can't really tell if it'll go forward any. I can't see what I'm hitting. Looks like it's hitting this main bracket right there. Let me see if I can tilt it up a little bit. Well, it really can't go forward anymore. It's touching this piece right here. That's it's the grill, the front grill. So I can't really get it. I can't push that bottom forward any because I'm up against a solid piece. And I can't really twist it side to side to clear this steering box down here. Looks like somebody else had fought with it a little bit too. I'll continue to move it around and see what I come up with. May have to get another radiator. I actually can mount it in at that angle. I've got a clamp down there just holding it, and I've got 1/4 inch all the way around here, clearing a steering box. I might be able to move it up even a little bit more. I don't know what else it's hitting. Looks like it just might be touching that little bracket over there. That's not too big of a deal. It'll just be that upper corner. It don't leave me much room to try to put a pulley on it. And there's no way to get it in with a pulley on it. I don't know where my pulley went. I'll see if I can find it. And pulley went on pretty easy. We've got about 3 inches of room there. There's no way that I'm gonna put a fan on it. Maybe a little flat one. Should have a electric fan set up, and that probably should go in the front and be put into the radiator before the radiator goes in. Not sure exactly. I've got some old Ford fans. Let me see if one of them might fit in there. Oh, there's a fan. It's pretty straight. It's not really fitting that shaft very good. But I'm clearing up here at the top. And I got quite a bit of room at the bottom. And it looks like it's the same width as the radiator. If it is a Ford fan, and just hope that Chevy and Ford turn the same way. I imagine they do, but it looks like that would be the way to go. If I have to get a Chevy fan for it, but that pulley's not really lining up very well. Looks like that dampener pulley might have to be spaced out a little. But anyway, as far as the radiator position, looks like I can get a fan in it. And I still have some adjustment to do there on the top. And as far as the bracket, I can just weld a little piece of angle iron right there, right at that level, so it'll so that radiator will set on it. And do the same on the other side, and that shouldn't interfere with my fenders or anything. Yeah, a little piece of 1-inch angle iron and give me a whole inch of inside the radiator there. That's putting a lot more weight on this fender, or this mount here. And maybe I could run something up from the middle, because a radiator full of water is kind of heavy. But anyway, I can do that. And I can figure out some way of making a bracket to go over the top of that radiator, and probably just mount to these places right here where that grill shell brace is. And it looks like I'll have to make sure I got all my headlight wires and stuff right before I put that radiator in. But I think I can get away with not using a fan. I mean, not using an electric fan. I prefer them, but again, I'm trying not to put a whole lot of money in this thing. I'm trying to put it together with what I got, and I think that that'll be a pretty good solution there. That fan's real close to the radiator. I can't tell, you know, until I get it in and get it bolted down good on that water pump. I can see there it's got to go back another 1/4 of an inch. It's just barely on the edge of the pump. And I think that fan has probably been up. I got another one in there that's good and straight. So I believe that'll fix that. So I guess really the only thing left is to see if I can find some angle iron. Need about 4 inches of it. Make me 2 bottom brackets, clamp them in and weld them. And then I can figure out what's going on with the rest of that mount after that. Should be able to do that without having to pull the radiator out again. Moving along slow, like Rod Bob says. We're getting there, we just ain't got it yet. I made a couple of brackets here. Found an old piece of steel. It's off of something really old, about 1919 I think. But I opened that up a little to miss the steering box. And this one should I just put a 45 on it so it'll look good. So that'd be the passenger or the driver and the passenger side. We'll bolt them on or clamp them and see what they look like. Well, here we go. Got this one in. I'm clearing my bolt and everything. And I got a little slope to the radiator. It's not that bad. I'm about 1 inch above the bolt there, and looks like 3/4 there. It's pretty level. But I'm going to have just enough there to weld a tab on the bracket to keep it from going back. And I'm hitting the brace, or maybe the top of the fender right there. Need to lower it just a little. And this one, I got it clamped on pretty good. I can weld a brace right here on top. A little tab. It'll hold it okay side to side. This one didn't have to cut it up to clear the inside fender brace. For some reason, the other one I did. I had to notch it. I don't know what it looks like from the bottom. I just got it clamped together there. but looks pretty good. And haven't really looked at where my fan and stuff is, but I measured it once before, so I'm pretty sure that's good enough. So I think I'm close enough here to tack this radiator in. Looks like it's contacting this bolt right here. I'll have to cut that bolt off and make it shorter. Probably the same on the other side. And then I can make something off of this, you know, just come straight over with a wide band. It'll clamp the top, mount it in rubber. The bottom will be good. So it looks like this radiator will work. I just got this hammer laying in here right now to kind of keep it from falling out. I don't have much room there, but I'll be able to get everything on. So and like I said, I got another fan. I don't need to use that one, but I think I'll be good enough. Took a lot longer than I thought to get those brackets cut and mounted. I still don't have them welded in, of course. I want to make sure that I can get everything in. I'll fabricate this bracket for both of them, and I want to get everything all made where I know it'll fit. Maybe put a little rubber in it or something, and yeah, that bolt's got to be cut a little. Can't have it rubbing there. Make a hole in there for sure. But I think I'll be good. Still a little cutting and grinding and measuring, and then I'll start tacking this stuff together. I think I will probably, well, you know, that bracket's at an angle because the main bracket is not going straight up and down. It looks like it's pretty close, but I think I'll weld that because I can get it to match the bottom of the radiator and then weld it, or if I put a bolt in it, it's going to pull it flat. And I don't know if I've got that, if that'll is it the same angle as the radiator or not. It kind of looks sort of straight, but I'll just weld it. I'll still be able to pull the radiator straight out, get it past everything. Of course, I'll just tack it first and then try to get the radiator out before I get in too crazy with welding it in solid. It'd be awfully hard to cut that off. It looks like I can do it, but it's going to be a pretty tight fit. So obviously I don't want to have to cut it off. I don't have to. Anyway, this took all day, but a lot of time was spent looking for angle iron and then cleaning it and then finally cutting it. But it do have the radiator in, and it's workable. Just mounting it good's another day.